this time on the Serve to Perform podcast.
The community, and recently we're trying to approach it in a way that the art that is presented to the community, or public art, is representative of the people in that community.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Welcome back to the Serve to Perform podcast. I'm your host, Delaney Osborne, and today we're joined with a very special guest, Mr. David Gomez. David, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, yeah. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what service has meant for David in his life specifically. So David, will you start with telling us a little bit about what you do specifically for your work?
So I'm a full-time artist and also a program manager of visual arts. My company just recently rebranded. We were the Art Center of the Ozarks, and now we're Arts One Presents. And so, yeah, it's just making art happen in our community.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And obviously, that's a passion of yours. Art would have to be a passion of yours for you to make it a career, right?
That's correct.
Awesome. Yeah. How long have you been doing art in the way that you have?
So I've been doing it for almost 3 years.
Okay. Awesome.
So it's been obviously it's been getting more, attention as the years have passed by. But yeah, it's been 3 really fun and challenging years.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about how service comes into play, because you're thinking art and you're thinking service. How do those two mend together? So let's talk a little bit about how service and what service has meant for your life.
So the artwork provides a lot of resources for the community. There's a lot of mental health, where the services that we provide, it really does help the many groups of people. So we make them feel welcome. We make them feel part of the community. And recently we're trying to approach it in a way that the art that is presented to the community, or public art, is representative of the people in that community.
Yeah. That's so awesome. So tell us a little bit about those projects specifically. You said wanting to represent the community that it's in.
Right. So, so we're looking at the art that is currently there,
Mm-hmm.
and then we've surveying, the demographics of the community, and we want to open up opportunities for artists that have not been given prominent opportunities.
Yeah.
So they can, when people walk around and they see the art, they feel like they're being represented.
Yeah. And I'm sure serving in your community is probably a huge piece of knowing what that community or a representation of that community would be.
Right.
Being out in the community and seeing who you're around and who you're talking with and who you're being able to see and cross paths with would be a huge piece of knowing what representation needed to be on what community specifically.
Right.
We initially connected with you for the Latino Business Speakers Bureau 31 by 31 interviews for you to facilitate those. So tell us a little bit about that process and how that was.
So that was a really exciting undertaking. There was a big learning curve, but I took on the challenge. Unbeknownst to me, it was going to be one of the most formative experiences professionally.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people that I spoke with are, C-level executives, and they were all very welcoming. There were a few bloopers along the way, but they were very gracious, and they were very willing to share their wisdom. And I feel like having those opportunities to have those conversations allowed me to reach out to customers. Yeah. So a lot of the art sales that I do are to executives and professionals. So I feel more well-rounded when I approach to them, when we have conversations, and when I ask what their needs are. Coming back to those conversations, every single leader had a servant disposition, and I noticed that, and whenever I approach my clients, I approach them with the same mentality. How can I add value? How can I make your life better? And I take that to my job. So when I'm approaching other artists, I want to know how I can remove any barriers that have existed in the past and make it in a way that they have an opportunity to, to grow and to bring their voice to the community.
Yeah. And that's important, right? In our community specifically, we want to feel heard. We want to feel like we're understood and represented. And that's a big piece of what your artwork and other artists in our communities can do for their communities specifically.
Right.
And so that serving attitude, right? Getting into your community, really learning your people, learning what you can do for them to help them is huge. It's huge for any community. It's huge for any one individual's life specifically as well. And so one thing we ask our guests that come on here to give us a little bit of a testimony is, how do you serve to perform in your everyday life? So for us, we are working with our clients and we're developing them and we're really hearing them and helping them in ways that we feel like we can. What are some ways that you feel like you do as well as other artists in this area do?
Well, one of the main things I feel is important is to listen to the artists.
Yeah.
Usually when I take my time to hear their stories, there's so much that they can share that they just don't know how. So the part that, or part of my role is to bring those stories, find a way so they can be heard, so that we can see the value in what they have. So, so one of the biggest things is just make sure that they're, being heard.
Yeah, heard. And that can also change an attitude. That can change a life, right? Making sure and knowing that, okay, someone's listening to me. I'm important. My voice matters is huge. It can be huge for anybody's life, and it can be huge to impact within communities and communities and communities beyond what we can even imagine. Do you have anything else you want to add? Do you feel like you have anything we haven't touched on or anything that you want to speak on?
No, I mean, I'm just, I'm really grateful for that opportunity. So, and, I just want to drive it home that, when I had that first conversation with Adam, it was a big opportunity and a big risk on his part. But, having that trust on people and, seeing who's hungry and who wants to take it to the next level. So that's what I do now. So because he gave me that opportunity, I want to give other people opportunities, that can change their lives.
Yeah, and serve those other people the way that Adam served you.
Exactly.
And that other people in your life believed in you and served you even before Adam to get you to the point that you are today.
That's true.
That's so awesome. David, thank you so much for joining us. We're so thankful for you and what you do for our community, and we hope to have you back at some point.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.